Hello, my people. Hi. Hi. It is Jessie. I cannot choose an aesthetic for the life of me. Today I look like a hot teacher that's secretly a vampire, and yesterday I just looked really cute. You never know. Hi. So if you do not know, I like to talk about mental health related topics, LGBTQ+ related issues, advocacy, so on and so forth on my channel, and I talked a lot about an experience and I realized I haven't really followed up on it, and I wanted to use this as a form of education. I just want to speak from the heart. Aren't I cute? I literally look like your hot vampire teacher. Date me. Okay, so like for vampire aesthetic, comment for cute rainbow aesthetic. And follow me on Instagram, not for me, for my son. I love him, my baby. I love him. Wait, where are you? You're so sleepy. I'm sorry, I'm gonna wake you up. You're doing great. You are so stunning. You are beautiful. You are my son. You are my child. This is Fender, by the way. Yes, I would do anything for you. I mean, I guess if I'm going for the vampire aesthetic, I'm already dead, but I would die again for you. You are so cute. Okay, I should stop torturing him. Stan Fender for clear skin. If you're new to the fandom, he's basically the mascot. I would actually say if there's a Jessie Page fandom tier list, I would say he's, you know, god level. And then I'm kind of here, where I'm like, I'm great, but Fender's better, okay? Yay! If you think in any way a video like this could harm you, please click out, because the purpose of this video is to help people, to share my experience and how this has changed my life. I want to make this statement and make it very clear that eating disorders are not one look, and especially when it comes to talking about physical effects, there are certain things that some people experience that I didn't. I'm gonna share that because it is part of my journey, but every person with an eating disorder is worthy of recovering. End of story. I literally look like hot Snow White. Is that my new branding? So health is mental and physical. That's my side Instagram if you don't know. I'm gonna switch between the two. You know, mental experiences and physical experiences. Cool. Physical. I'm bringing this up because this was a really big part of my video where I talked about it. If you're a man that's watching this, or, you know, like, I don't know, my grandfather, you know, you can just click out. I gained about 70 pounds the past year. I lost my period for 5 years, which had a really severe and has had a really severe effect on myself. Long story short, I mainly suffered from anorexia. You know, a way of your body's kind of way of conserving energy is to shut down something that is not useful at the time. So I did get it back. Yay. Do we throw a party? That's kind of awkward maybe. I don't know. Or maybe I make it less awkward by throwing, I mean, it's only awkward if I say it's awkward. December 2019, January 2020, so it wasn't that long ago. When I did have them, they were never so insanely painful. I take a certain medication to make it less painful, and it's still insanely painful. It's something that I really wish I took seriously from day one. I was so scared of doctors because I didn't want to hear it. And then I waited too long. And you know, if that's something you really care about, that is something I would really check in on. And that is something that has not gone away and has been really difficult for me to deal with. I'm really happy, I'm really grateful that it did come back. At the same time not. And because, you know, it's painful, but yes, it means I recovered from something I went through. I wish I chose recovery just sooner. I had some moments where it was on and off a little bit, but for the most part, most of those 5 years, I did not have it. But that's something that I'm currently working on, I'm currently healing from, and I'm doing my best to do what I can that's in my control. But hormonally, I was a whole mess after recovering, and this isn't to convince people to not recover. In fact, I'm gonna say be really patient because it's going to get easier. The mental part of it. So a lot of things that hurt me at first went away. People would say I looked healthy, and you know, it's a mental illness, so the disorder part of my brain was like, just took that as being really negative. And now if someone were to say you look really healthy, like it wouldn't affect me, which is good. It's progress. But also if you are in that older state, you know, that's where I was before, that's okay, that's valid. That happens to a lot of people. You know, people are really used to seeing me online for multiple years, for the most part, being one certain body type. So having an online presence and then also recovering is difficult. Nonetheless, just gaining weight is really hard when you have an online presence, but also when you're trying to fight a mental illness, very difficult. But I've really taken care of myself, so those comments don't affect me. And looking at old photos of myself doesn't necessarily do anything negative for me. I really try to not really post too much of that, and if I do, it's very focused on just like an experience I had. I really try my best. But also, like, there are just certain moments that happen where they overlapped with that time period where I just want to share that moment, and it's not at all because of the way I used to look, and sometimes people misconstrue that. But there's still things that might always just bring me to a certain place that I avoid, and I know those things, and I do my best. You know, when I do see something that I just know puts me in a certain headspace, I really have my certain coping mechanisms. Even like certain people I follow that are really pro-recovery is really helpful. Yeah, so I think there's some things that will always put you in a negative headspace. It's a matter of really just knowing how to handle those thoughts. Okay, another thing physically that happened for me personally, I had really intense acne. I think that was a really good learning experience for me. I view acne as cute, as beautiful, and I think, which is a really good thing too, I'm really careful, you know, if someone does ask for acne advice, I really, as of like, especially the past few months, I really try to use certain verbiage and try to stay away from certain topics of conversation. I'll explain. So I was recovering, and hormonally, for me personally, I was a mess. I had very painful acne too, and it kind of came up a lot and it wasn't stopping. It was really painful. I wouldn't go to the grocery store without makeup. I felt so bad for my younger self, and this wasn't even that long ago. And what was also really bad for me was I was only posting old pictures of me because I felt so insecure about taking photos of myself with my acne, and I wish I just like embraced it, talked about it online more, and when I was going through it, really accentuated that it was okay. I am gonna do photo shoots, and I am gonna keep living my life because I deserve to keep living my life regardless of what my skin looks like, because it's just skin, you know? But I've really learned when it comes to a lot of things that you can't control or you shouldn't try to control, what I've learned is that, you know, just tolerance or acceptance instead of needing to be in love. We live in a society where it's really hard to unlearn these thoughts of not feeling, you know, inadequate because of these things. Just accept it, you know? And with that being said, you know, I think if I tolerated it more, I would have worn makeup and not been so mean to myself. Like, I stopped hanging out with friends. So many things I shouldn't have done to myself. I had a lot of people that were telling me, you know, you need to, and this isn't their fault, you need to eat a certain way to clear your skin. And for me, it was very hormonal. And also during that time, it was not good for me to control the way I was eating. So Accutane can kind of be seen as a last resort. And for me, it was a last resort. That was a really good decision that I made. It was an investment in my mental health, honestly, so that I didn't try to control anything else in my life that could have been harmful to me. Okay, cool. Mental health side of things. Throwing out those clothes. So that was really hard for me because I love fashion, and there were pieces of clothing I loved, I was attached to. It was so hard for me, genuinely, to actually get rid of clothes, and I would do this thing where I would get rid of some, and I was like, look, I did this, I'm good, I'm better. But then I wouldn't get rid of everything because I was like, but I really love these pants, and I think maybe one day no, I don't want to be back there. I'm not going to be back in that place because I'm taking care of myself, and I deserve recovery. Not that, you know, relapsing doesn't happen, but just good to tell yourself that it's not going to happen, because I think there's more of a chance of it not happening if you're like, I'm going to get rid of these jeans that don't fit me, I'm not going to keep them just in case. Another thing, this is something I've never talked about online, but I always had a bit more of a safety net when it came to people looking at me and sexualizing me online, because in people's eyes, you know, I had less curves, and a lot of people associate that sometimes with a younger body type, and I wasn't viewed as a woman still, and I was also, granted, super young. I mean, it's in general just really inappropriate to sexualize young girls or women in general. We have brains, but I feel like suddenly my body was different, and I wasn't used to certain attention I was getting, and it felt really, really weird. I even had certain people that had some sort of weird thing that they were into my weight gain, and that was really uncomfortable for me to go through, as you can probably imagine, and inappropriate. Like, I didn't deserve that. I did not. I like can't even defend that, and I don't deserve to have to defend them, I don't think. Honestly, I realized in a lot of ways I went from being treated like a young girl to a woman. That's how I feel personally with the way I was treated. And it's not to say that you're not a woman if you're not curvy. That was just my experience, and especially with a lot of these people that were commenting on it being people that just followed me online, it didn't talk to me in person. Like, they don't necessarily always know how I'm, you know, maturing mentally. They just see my body looking different. I had to get over some internalized misogyny and fear of certain things, and I had to, you know, also acknowledge certain things were wrong, but realize that, you know, what I'm not gonna do is try to change. So now they're gonna treat me like they did before, and instead, like, I'm going to embrace it, so that no matter what they say, you know, I feel good. And then I just had to work on certain things where, you know, I didn't want to be viewed as older as I was getting older, because I wanted to protect myself, if that makes sense. And it obviously wasn't in an inappropriate way. All my friends were older than me. Long story short, there were a lot of things that happened to me when I was a minor, and that was not a conversation I got to receive. So I still wanted protection. I'm 22 now, but now I'm really comfortable with, you know, I'm an adult, I'm a woman, I am curvy, I'm okay with looking that way. I think I'm cute, but like I'm okay with calling myself hot and, you know, sexy. I never was comfortable with that before, and now I'm like, you know what? I've just kind of worked my way through it, and I think I've come really far with that, so. Yeah, this is a positive video. Anyways, I feel like I talked a lot. Let me know if you want a part 2, because I feel like there's just so many different ways that my life has been changed, and there's just different things that I work on every day so that I can stay nice, stay healthy for all of you, for me, for my boy. You are so special and perfect. So that is it for this video. This is a positive video. I've come really, really, really far, and I wanted to talk through a lot of my thought processes and what I've done to get to where I am today. What I did to get to where I am today. Very enthusiastic. But I love you so much, and everyone deserves recovery. I love you, my people. I'm gonna feature your pages on the screen, as well as your posts. Mwah. Chef's kiss. I love my people. And I literally look like hot Snow White. Okay, I will see you all in the future. Which is probably, hopefully, I'm trying to upload every weekend. We will see, we will see. I love you. Bye! You're a part of me left infected. When I was broken, limbered together. You said forever, never thought you meant it. Now I don't see it. It's getting better till I cut you out. Like a sickness I forgot.